All right, we're gonna get started. So we've opened the bag that's labeled bottom. B-O-T-T is the way we labeled it. So you'll have all of these pieces in there. And the piece that we're gonna start with, and I'm just gonna push these aside, we're gonna start with these two pieces. This is the access panel in the bottom of the bag, and then this is the piece. And you see we have standing by here our glue, a couple little tools for getting in crevices, and a rag and mineral spirits. And so what we're gonna do, you're gonna be spraying the rough part of every piece. So you wanna make sure first and foremost that you feel the piece and get the rough part. And then this is your access panel here that we've taken out of the bag. Now just a quick note here, the hole in the access panel is not in the center. And so you wanna make sure that you have your piece ready to line up with that hole, okay? So I'm just gonna flip this piece over, shake my glue, then I'm gonna spray the back of the piece here, and then I'm gonna spray the plastic piece. You wanna make sure you get in those crevices. And then the way I did this, I just need to flip this over. I'm going to line the hole up first, and then side to side, and then I'm going to put it in the crevices here. And then we're going to end up lining up exactly on the corners there. Then you want to move to the other side quick. You can come back and do your final press in. Okay, so we're going to go back. And this is where these tools come in handy. You can kind of press it, make sure it's in those crevices. And as the glue dries, it will suck into the plastic. So just make sure everything nice and firm in the crevices. And that's your first piece. What you're probably going to find is sometimes there's some overspray on glue and it shows up white, like here and here, and you can take your wet rag with mineral spirits and just clean it up off the piece, and you won't even see it. It'll just clean it right off. The next piece that you're going to put in is the front panel of the bottom. So find this piece. It's got the little lip for your auxiliary plug-in. So this is the next piece that we're going to put in. So we're going to do what we always do. First you want to dry fit it. So we take it over to the bike and we get a feel. And this one, this little round piece that goes around your auxiliary there, that's going to be your benchmark, as well as these two corners, which are going to go right up to these corners here. And then everything else is going to kind of flow from that, okay? So once you got a feel for how that's going to go in, and it's going to match up right at the seams here, then we'll go over, we'll spray the rough part of this piece with the glue. Then we'll go over to the bag, and as carefully as we can, we'll spray this front panel that we're going to be gluing to. This is a little tricky because you're kind of working upside down a little bit. Don't worry about overspray. We can go back and clean that up with mineral spirits. Then we bring your piece over, and again, the benchmark is here and on these two front corners. Okay, those two front corners are where your benchmarks are. Then you're going to go right up to the lip here, press that in place, and you're going to make sure you get down in here, working around that, and then the cutouts are made so they fit right closely there. Again, push in here, go around, get your cutout. If it doesn't quite work the first time, you can lift it up, put it back down again, and then make sure you're going around. Use your hands to smooth it in place and press it. And then you've got there's a screw right here that you want to kind of push around. And just make sure you get everything pushed into place where the glue is going to adhere. All right. Hi, before we move to the next piece, we're going to just take a look at the tape off real quick. As you can see, we did a lot of tape off. So if you don't want glue on it, make sure you tape it off. But we can go back at the end and clean up with mineral spirits. So don't worry about that at this point. So what we've done, we're going to work on this back piece next. And I'm going to take you in the back of this. We're doing it on our table. We put a 2x4 under here, if you don't have it on your bike, to make it a little bit easier because it keeps it securely in place here. So again, we're going to dry fit this piece. This is your piece that you're going to be working with, and you can see it's got a lot of cutouts in it. This piece is going to fit right in the back here. Your benchmarks are going to be the 2 bottom corners here. I know it's a little tough to see because we're working black on black, but those are your 2 benchmarks. It's going to just flow around here, and then you're going to end up tucking it up around, up in there once you've got the glue on it. This is probably going to be one of your easiest pieces that you're going to put in here. So even though it's a fairly large piece, it's going to go in easy. Okay, I'm going to move over and we're going to spray the back. And then we're going to come back and spray that, and we'll be right back. Make sure you keep shaking your can of glue, especially when you're not working upright with it. This again is a kind of a tricky. Again, don't worry about overspray. We'll come back and clean up later. Okay, again, we're going to start at the bottom and your benchmarks. This one's a little sticky. Oops. Okay, you're going to try and put it in the corner here. And you're going to run it along the bottom and then put it in your other corner. So once you get it in place, just make sure you get that bottom all along the bottom edge. And then you're going to work up the sides. And that's going to push in. And we're going to smooth it out, work it up, and then push up in. And then all those little slits will go around those things in the back. All right. Okay, the next piece that we're going to put in is a side piece, and that's where your trunk latch cable is, or trunk cable. And you can see we've already taken that cable off because it's just easier to work with it. But you'll know this piece because it has a cutout. And it's going to kind of wrap around and meet up with that back piece that you just put in. And so you'll find that mark. This little tip here goes up in the corner, and then this wraps around. This wraps around, leaving your latch exposed. And then this piece will come right to this. There's a little dip here. It'll come right here, and then this will match up perfectly here. All right, that's your dry fit. So we're going to. Okay, I've already sprayed my piece, the rough side of it, and now I'm back to the trunk here, and you want to try and be as careful as you can, but again, don't worry about it. We can get the overspray with the mineral spirits. Okay. All right, so I'm bringing the piece over, and I'm going to start here in the corner with the wraparound. This one goes up into the corner there, and then it wraps around, meeting up with that piece that you just put in. This piece is going to come around the top here, going around this, where the cable goes. And then we're going to run it along the top, nice and easy here, right to here. And matching up right where you put that other piece in, then slide it all down to the bottom, get it smoothed in place, And just a tip here, if you have a partner or something, the one doing the gluing, you're gonna have glue on your hands. So sometimes it's like a little bit easier to allow your partner to come in and do all the pressing and smoothing. Okay, great job. Make sure you get it all smoothed and pressed in place. This is the other side that we're going to right now. You just did this side with the cable. Now we're working the opposite side. It's going to go in exactly the same, except that you don't have to work around that cable. We're going to dry fit it. Again, this little tip goes right at the top there, and then that piece wraps around. Again, comes around, fits perfectly in there. So we're going to go ahead and spray the back of this. Then we're going to come back and spray that and get this piece installed. For those of you that are a little bit, shall I say, anal, you might want to clean your glue up at this point. You can clean it up at any time. We like to wait till the end and do it all at once. But if you see white marks, that's glue. You can clean it up with mineral spirits. Okay, I've got the back side of my piece sprayed, got the inside of the trunk sprayed. So I'm going to match up that little spot right there. We're going to come along the top edge. This one you want to wrap around so you can get it toward the bottom there. We're going to come along the top edge. This little indent's going to fit right there. If you don't get it smooth, don't be afraid to pull it up and put it back down again. Alright. It's probably one of the easier pieces you'll do. Get it all smoothed out. Again, this is maybe where you want your partner to come in when your hands are a little bit gluey, and have them come in. Smooth it all out. Make sure that you got these two pieces matched up here, and if you don't, if you have a little bit of a gap, we'll come back at the end and show you how to make that all nice and neat. Okay? Okay, the next piece that's going to go in is going to be the bottom, and this is the one that has the big cutout for that auxiliary or that access panel. And so what you're going to do when you put this one in, when it's all glued and ready to go, which we're just dry fitting at this point, is you want to come in and position it right around that opening. Okay, that's how that piece is going to go in when you come with it glued, and then you're going to end up pushing it back into the corners and then pulling it up to meet that line. So we're going to go ahead and again, make sure that you spray the rough side of the piece. So we're going to come over here and spray that up. Oh, time to flip my paper. I'm getting a little tacky. So again, got the rough side of the piece. Gonna spray it up. Make sure you're shaking your can regularly. Then we're gonna move over to the bag. And we're gonna try and stay as close to the... Again, don't worry about overspray. We'll go ahead and clean it up either after this piece or later. Okay, just like we dry fit, we're going to position the opening as best we can over that. Then we're going to pull back into the corner, meeting up all the seams there. Same thing on the other side, back into the corner. If it overlaps a little bit, don't worry about it. And then make sure you're pulling, it does have a little bit of stretch if you need to pull just a little bit. And you're going to have a little overlap in the back there. We just can't have that piece cut any smaller or thinner, or it'll end up tearing on you. So again, bring your partner in, have them smooth it all out. can get it in the crevices in the bottom if you'd like, otherwise you can just let it float over it. Okay. Next piece we're going to dry fit is kind of this wing piece that goes in the bottom, and it goes around that auxiliary piece. And so you're really going to have to come in here and try and match up your corners first and get this seam as tight as you can, and then flow it back. And then we have, I'm going to show you this right away, we have this last piece, and this for a lot of you is going to be a kind of a pain in the butt, but it finishes it off in there, and it goes around this auxiliary thing and tucks in so that you don't have any plastic exposed under there. This piece we're going to show you after we get done, but this will be your last piece that'll go in, okay? So we're going to go ahead, we're going to spray the rough side. We're going to come back and as carefully as we can spray this and put this piece in. Did you want to watch me spray this?
Why doesn't it stop videoing?
All right, we're going to spray the back of this piece. Go into your bag. And this is going to be a little tricky because you want to be as careful as you can, but again, you can go back and clean up, but the more careful you are, the less cleanup you'll have to do. And I'm going to let it kind of spray up in here because we're going to just put that next piece in almost immediately. So go ahead and spray up in there if you want. Okay. All right, this piece is gonna, you might want to kind of fold it in there. You want to go to corner, get that corner in there, and then you're going to follow along this front edge. Get your other corner put in, get it pressed in place, and then follow along that front edge. And then this is going to lay in around that auxiliary piece. And you're going to do a lot of this by feel, so all right. If you need to push and pull on it a little bit, it does have some give to it. All right, you can see there's overspray glue, but again, we can go back and clean that up. So have your partner come in and smooth that out, but don't do any cleanup because we're going to work with the piece right up underneath there. Okay. Okay, this last piece going in the bottom, we're going to spray this one real heavy because we're not going to have any, we're not going to go back to the bag and spray, so we're going to spray this one really heavy. Okay. The way this piece goes in, again, fit corner. You want it to match up right at the top here. Corner. Okay. Get those in nice and tight in the corners. Work it in toward that auxiliary thing. And then you want to make sure it tucks real tight in around that. And you're going to go by feel here. But it's going to finish this off really nice in there for you. And again, we're going to let the glue do the work here since we didn't spray the inside of the bag. All right. Let your partner come in and kind of smooth this all out. Okay, we're just going to show you just a quick cleanup. You can go back and do this before you start the lid portion of this. But basically anywhere where it's white, take your rag with mineral spirits. And you just kind of, gently rub it. I mean, you're looking to lift that glue off of there. So it's just a little patience, a little time going back at the end. You can see, we're gonna just show you a little trick here. In the bottom of the bag, you can see where we didn't get the pieces quite pushed together. So you have, if you put your nail in there, you can feel the bottom of the bag. So what we do, that's why we include the scrap piece. we're just going to cut a little piece about the length of that. Just a thin little piece is what I'm going to cut here. Okay. And this might be a little too thick for that, but you just cut a thin little piece. And then that piece, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little glue on it. You know, just kind of taper it so that you can have this piece cut to size. Then I'm going to take this piece over, spray some glue on some plastic, and then I have a little artist brush. You can buy these super cheap, like in a craft store. Just buy the lowest quality you can get. I think I bought like 5 of them for $1 or something like that. So you want to put this in the, I'm going to take this over to the bag. I'm going to spread a little glue in that spot, and then I'm going to put a little of the glue on the back side of this piece. And then we're just going to press this in place. Just keep tucking it in there. And then let that glue dry overnight with the rest of it. And nobody will ever know that that wasn't all tight there. Nice little trick.